What's up YouTube, welcome to the detailed review of the Dominar 250. So 7 days with the motorcycle and clocking around 500 kilometers, and I am here with my review. So some of the guys have already asked this question, that how do I clock this much 500-600 kilometers when I get the motorcycle for review. So what I want to tell is that if I do one morning ride, I'll be able to do some 200-250 easily. So if I do 2 or 3 rides like that, it's not a big deal in doing 500-600 kilometers. So yes, I really got a chance to try this motorcycle out. Please ignore all the dirt on this motorcycle. I just tried doing some off-roading here to just check whether it is a good off-roader or not. So the tires are so dirty, I know that, but I have to say that I'm loving this motorcycle for what it is. I have to say one thing, that this is not a comparison review between a Dominar 400 and a 250, because absolutely no comparison except the fact that it looks like a Dominar 400. Yes, definitely it looks like a Dominar 400 in every angle. You won't find those minor differences that Bajaj has made on this motorcycle, except the fact that the rear tire is a bit slimmer, and you will notice. Apart from that, you won't really find the difference in the engine or on the forks when you're looking from outside. But when you start riding this motorcycle, you will get to know that this motorcycle is very different in character when you compare with the Dominar 400. So first of all, look wise, I'm completely happy with it. It's a head turner in the traffic, I have to say that. Everyone looks at you, and the exhaust note is really nice. To be honest, I'll say that I like the 250 exhaust more soothing than the Dominar 400. The new exhaust of the Dominar 400 is a bit loud for my taste. I'm talking about my taste, okay? So a bit loud, but on this one it is sweet. It makes a sound only when you're revving, otherwise absolutely sweet. It's not at all annoying. And yeah, you have all the good bits and pieces of the Dominar 400 in this motorcycle. For example, the headlight. Always, I have to say that this headlight is always the best in class when you compare every other motorcycle in sub 500cc motorcycle. And one good thing Bajaj, what I've done when they made the Dominar 250, is that they really didn't pull off many stuff from the Dominar 400. I really don't know whether the Dominar 400 owners will like it or not, but I have to say that they haven't pulled many things on this motorcycle. For example, the mirrors, the seats, the tank, even the chassis, the exhaust, everything is same. So in look wise, it is very difficult for someone to understand whether it's a 400 or a 250. But yes, those who know about the motorcycle will get to know that this exhaust with the paint scheme is the 250, because the older 400 with the red color was having the first generation exhaust. So yes, I really got a chance to ride this motorcycle inside city as well as highway, and to do some amount of off-roads. You can see that. So when you just get onto the motorcycle, what I can say is that the seat height is not that tall on papers, but when you really sit on this motorcycle, what you feel is that even for a 5'6" person like me, I feel that the motorcycle is just perfect for me. The reason is because the seat is wide. You have to keep your legs a bit wide, so you will feel that the motorcycle is a bit tall. And the seat is the same one that you see with the Dominar 400, which is very comfortable for city use and moderate touring. Pillion seat is also like that. Grab rail is towards the back, so it doesn't interfere with the pillion thighs, and the pillion foot peg is forward set, so more relaxed pillion riding. So when we get on the motorcycle, absolutely you won't miss anything from the 400, because the big tank, the feel of a big bike, everything is there. The handlebar is nice and wide. You can feel that wider handlebar when you start riding the motorcycle, and it's a bit sporty, not too much. You can see that the riding posture is a little bit sporty. The foot pegs are set neutral, not forward set, not rear set, and these mirrors are giving good visibility. These mirrors are good for one another reason, that they are hard. It doesn't vibrate and change direction and all. So when we look onto the handlebar, we have all basic switches over here. So it's a really nice dash that you see over here. I have to say that you have all the basic things over here, like the odometer. The trip meter is also here, 2 trip meters, and this is the tachometer, the speedometer, the fuel level indicator, the time, and that's it. So pretty basic. No gear position indicator that, and there are no analytics based on the trip meters also. And when it comes to the tires are too dirty now. But I have to say that the tires are kind of okay in dry conditions, because I didn't face any issues, no cornering problems, no height speed problems. When it comes to the wet conditions, I was not that much happy with it. Especially I was riding above hundreds when it was raining, and I was feeling that fishtail effect, and I was feeling the same thing when there are huge crosswinds and when you are above 140, 145 and all these speeds are illegal. Okay, I'm just putting my observation over here, that but this shouldn't stop you from buying this motorcycle, because anyway you can change the tires to Michelin or Pirelli's, Metzeler's. I mean, they're beautiful tires. You should consider putting that tire on this motorcycle, because that will altogether change the riding confidence, the braking and everything. So once you get used to this motorcycle, switch from this tire to something more grippy, and let's go for a ride. Very nice. the suspension on this motorcycle is set onto a softer side, so it's very comfortable to ride when you are riding bad roads in the city or be on some kind of off-roads or even on a bumpy highway road. So this soaks up everything. On the flip side, you will be feeling a little bit of wavy suspension when you are taking it over the corners, because that's what it is, right? When you have a softer suspension, it will be good for broken roads. When you have a harder suspension, then you'll be having fun on the corners. So let's try to pull the motorcycle a little hard now. I know that some of you might be telling that the dash is not that visible in bright sunlight. In person it is not that bad, but in camera it is not coming that good. I hope you have seen the power delivery. This is almost the same power delivery that you see on a Duke 250. I have to say that the Duke 250 has mated with the Dominar 400 to give the Dominar 250. The best part about this motorcycle is like you have that character of the Duke 250, where you can live like a lazy person or you can be an aggressive when you want. So generally I'll categorize the motorcycle ranges into low, mid and high. I have to break that law here because I've even consulted with owners and got to know that when you leave the clutch off, the motorcycle will roll pretty quickly, and the low to the mid-range is like decently powerful, and the mid-range is the most engaging area on this motorcycle. And of course, if you have seen my Duke 250 video, I've told that the top end is not that great. I have the same feel on this motorcycle also, and this motorcycle can go to a speed of 145. You'll reach the 130 mark pretty quickly, and after that it takes its own time in climbing that way to 145. But I haven't told you the best part. The best part is this motorcycle is very refined. It's like too refined. I have to say that this feels more refined than the Dominar 400. So when you really rev the throttle hard and bring it to the nuts, you can find a little bit of vibration on the seat, which is very understandable when you're riding a petrol engine. Otherwise, this motorcycle is like super refined, I have to say that. So that's what I told. This is a very beginner friendly engine, and I'm pretty sure that Dominar 250 is introduced by Bajaj to attract the young crowd who are a bit scared to take the 400, because the 400 is a powerful motorcycle under the 500cc category. So this motorcycle is exactly for those kind of people. If you're upgrading from a 150cc motorcycle also, you have enough room to fun around, and even if you are upgrading from a scooter, you won't be finding that kind of a huge problem with the power delivery and all. What I have to say that this motorcycle is heavy, you have to keep it in mind. I have to say that this motorcycle is heavy. I think a couple of times when I was pushing it back from the parking lot, I have literally got out of the motorcycle and checked whether I'm having flat tire. Because for a 250cc, this motorcycle is heavy, especially when you look at the competitors like the Duke 250 or the FZ 250 or the CBR 250R. But the advantage of having that heaviness is when you hit this kind of a highway, because you have a lot of stability. It's unlike the Duke 250 that you see. When you really rev to the heart of the Duke 250, that motorcycle is like very light, and when you have a lot of crosswinds, then probably you will be shifting lanes just because of the wind. That won't happen with this motorcycle. And I'll say that the brake on this motorcycle is like good for a beginner. And I believe that some of you might be telling that, hey, the brake is not that impressive, it doesn't have that kind of a bite. What I'll say that this is not that kind of a huge powerful motorcycle. This is a motorcycle for beginners who wanted to start touring, who wanted to experience a little bit of a powerful motorcycle. So in that manner, I'll say that the brakes are good. You really don't want a very sharp brake on this kind of a heavy motorcycle and flick it and basically you drop it. So in my opinion, the brake on this motorcycle is like very progressive. This is what you need when you're a beginner or an intermediate rider. And when you're really out on this highway like that, you can easily cruise at the speed of 90 to 110 km/h. Absolutely no refinement issue. It's like no vibrations, very refined. And I'll be uploading a different touring video on this motorcycle as a touring review, so you can watch that if you are interested to take this motorcycle as a highway tourer. So when it comes to the city use, what I was telling is that the mid-range is the strong point on this motorcycle. So I have to say that if you really wanted to keep yourself in the top of the line, you have to ring it a little harder. And if you try to ring it harder for a long time, you will feel a little bit of tiredness. It's my personal feel. I was feeling that when I was doing that. Or if you want to ride it in the city very relaxed, taking it through all the bad roads, you won't be facing any problems. And I didn't face any problem with the ground clearance and all. And the turning radius is also not a big deal if you are having a good relationship with the clutch and the throttle. Another one thing which I liked about the motorcycle when you are considering it for the city use is the lighter clutch. The clutch is very light. You'll be able to ride this motorcycle inside city without much trouble to your left hand, and it's one of the lightest clutch that I've seen on a 250cc motorcycle. And the gearbox is also like very crisp. I didn't have any false neutrals or any problem with the gear shift, and there wasn't any heating issues either. But I have to say that if you are riding a new motorcycle, you have to expect some amount of heating. All the heat and mileage things, everything will get settled only after the first service. And this motorcycle is coming for 2,04,000 on road Bangalore. And I have to say that if you're someone who is looking for a value for money motorcycle, then definitely this one it is, because for this price range you won't get this kind of a very good tourer, very good city motorcycle. Thinking from an ownership point of view, you have to do service once in 5,000 kilometers, and each service will be costing somewhere from 1,200 to 1,500 rupees, which is not at all expensive for a 250cc motorcycle. And when it comes to the mileage and all, you will be able to get somewhere from 30 to 35 inside city if you are riding it normally, 35 to 40 on a highway, which is like a very good mileage figure for a highway tourer. And I've done something different for this review. These are the 6 people who has helped me in getting me all the ownership details like the mileage and maintenance. So thanks a lot, guys. So yeah, let's come to a conclusion. Who all can look onto this kind of a motorcycle? So I'll say if you want a decent motorcycle for your city use, you really don't want to push a lot inside city, but you have to ride it sanely, then probably this motorcycle is good for you. You want a very good highway tourer, definitely consider this. And if you're looking for an off-roading motorcycle, I'll say that this is not that kind of a very good off-roader. First thing, the stock tires doesn't stick at all when it comes to the slush. Of course, these are road tires. You have to go for off-roading tires if you want to off-road. And secondly, I told that the power band is in the mid-range. So if you're a beginner or an intermediate off-roader, you have to ring it a little hard. And if you miss the throttle, the motorcycle will turn off. And I've already told that this is a bit heavy motorcycle, so there are high chances that you'll drop the motorcycle when it comes to off-roading. But in other case, city and highway, this motorcycle is just perfect as a 250cc motorcycle. So I hope this video is helpful for you. And if it has helped you, you know what to do. Show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.